everybody, this is my first YouTube video. Yeah, I thought I'd jump in now whilst I could, because everybody's doing the Seamstress Tag, and I thought that'd be an awesome first video, because then I could kind of tell you all about me and you wouldn't be wondering who the heck I was. So yeah, I've just popped up a background because the room's really messy, and I thought I'd yeah, I'd not tidiest, so yeah, I just popped up a background, and it's much easier that way. So anyway, question number one, who are you? I'm Anna Irving. I'm married and I have 2 kids. My daughter is 16, because I'm actually 42 now. I'm going to be 43 next month, and my son's going to be 8 next month. He is actually born 2 days after my birthday. It was a busy birthday, that one. But yeah, I'm studying at university at the moment. I'm doing a foundation degree in education because I left school pretty well. I left school on time, and then I did a little bit of college, but then I actually quit college and I moved to London and did modelling for a while, and then I didn't really do much in the way of education then, because you know, you don't really. So I started up again a couple of years ago and retook my maths GCSE, because that was I failed that one when I was in school, and yeah, that was the one that really made me annoyed that I failed it. I shouldn't have failed it, really, and I did pretty well on most other things, but I really wanted my maths GCSE, so I went back a couple of years ago and I did that, and I also did my level 2 in teaching assistant, to be a teaching assistant, and I've done my level 3 on that. So I've got those, and yeah, I've really been enjoying studying, so I'm doing it again this year and hopefully next year, so then I'll have my foundation degree, and it'll be kind of like a level 4 and 5, which is good, and hopefully I want to go on and get a degree and become a teacher. So yeah, then I'll be able to help teach all the kids a lot better than I'm doing. I'm doing all right, but I'm more kind of, you know, friendly figure, you know, extra support, but I kind of want to know exactly what I'm teaching them and why I'm teaching them, and to be able to target it better so that I can do a better job of it, to be honest. Yeah. When and why did you start sewing? I started sewing when I was in secondary school. Probably a tiny bit before that, but no, I really kind of learned to sew in secondary school. So we did it as part of our education back in the Stone Ages. We used to do textiles and home ec, and so I learnt to make pizzas, and I learnt to sew, and I say a lot, so sorry. I made a skirt, I made a top, another skirt, and I was mostly wearing hand-me-downs from my brothers. I had 4 brothers, and fun. Otherwise it was stuff from the charity shops and the rag market, which is fine, and I still, to be honest, I still do that now, because I love charity shop shopping. You find awesome stuff there. But no, it was nice to be able to make my own stuff. But once I left school, went into work, and didn't really have time for it, so yeah, I got back into it about 8 months ago, really. I mean, I bought the machines a couple of years ago, about two birthdays ago, so but I didn't really have as much time as I thought I would. I like the thought of it. You know, I was caught up in the sewing bee buzz that everybody was. But yeah, last 8 months I think I've been doing it a lot more seriously, and I've been making quite a lot of stuff, and it's got to the point now where I can actually, at least most days, wear something that I've made, which is really nice. Really nice. And also I wanted to do it because my daughter at 16 is nearly 6'3", and we're both fairly pear-shaped, and you can't get stuff that fits properly, you know. Trouser wise, it's a poor thing. Everything's to her ankles, which is fine at the moment, you know. It's pretty trendy at the minute. It's just not going to be in a few years. If the fashion industry is anything to go by, you know, it's going to pendulum the other way, and suddenly, you know, people are probably going to be tripping over, you know, their hemlines because they're going to be that long. So yeah, I want to know how to sew and fit and adjust and make her some really nice clothes. So I actually just have to get around to making her more of them now, because she initially, when I was making it, I was doing all of the stuff for her, but now I'm starting to make a bit more for me, and I quite like it. So yeah, anyway, what is your favourite or proudest make? I've just finished it. Hold on. Ta-da! This is not the most complicated pattern, I admit. It's from Sew Bias, Sutton Blouse? True Bias, sorry, brain dead. Yeah, True Bias, and it is the Sutton blouse, and I've got all her patterns. I'm really sorry I forgot your name, because YouTube, nervous. But yeah, this is made out of silk chiffon. Drapey, floaty, slightly not ironed. I told you I'm not very good at tidying and ironing, and yeah, but yeah, this was probably the trickiest fabric I've worked with. And look, French seams. I lined it in Haboti silk, and yeah, I'm really proud of it. There's obviously little bits wrong, but yeah, it's pretty good. I'm chuffed. What is your most disastrous make? Yeah, that's an easy one. This one. So I was actually given this fabric for nothing when I bought a load of fabric at the rag market here in Birmingham, which any Brummie will know, it's just awesome. You can get super fabrics for hardly anything, and the sellers are really lovely. But yeah, so I got this fabric for free, and this was a new look pattern, and I thought, oh, okay, that'll be nice. I'll go and I'll make a top of it, and straight on it. Did a little ruching there. Turned out really nicely. Used my overlocker. Lovely. Yeah. Did my neckband. Didn't stretch it out too much, which actually is one of yeah. But wore it. Lovely. Loved it. Floaty, and it fit well, and yada yada yada. And then I washed it, and it kind of shrunk. Yeah, I completely and utterly forgot about the whole pre-washing the fabric thing, and jersey shrinks quite a lot, so although it fits quite well that way, it's now become a bit of a crop top, which I've had 2 kids. I don't do crop tops anymore, because I'd probably scare the kids when I go to school. So yeah, so that was my most disastrous make. I've kept a hold of it so that I can always remember to pre-wash my fabric. and yeah, maybe my daughter will wear it at some point because she likes crop tops and she's 16 and she can wear them. But no, yeah, that was sad. Made me very sad. Okay, where is your favourite place to go fabric shopping? Well, like I said, it's probably the rag market because it's just fun. It's colourful. There's so many interesting characters. There's a lovely little dinky donut store which occasionally I buy for my son, and I nick an occasional donut, but not really. I'm not really into donuts, but they are nice. But yeah, there's so many fabric stores, and it's like £2 a metre for... Oh, hold on, I'll show you. Right. How gorgeous. Pretty pattern. And £2 a metre. Both of those were just £2 a metre. I mean, yeah. I know there's, I read online about a lot of people not being able to find really nice, in America I think it's rayons. But here we call it viscose, I think. But yeah, we get loads of them. Loads and loads and loads and loads, and that's probably why I've got half as much fabric as I have. But I also like... yeah, I like the fancy silk store, even though it's really big and there's lots of yeah, it's hard to find things sometimes, but it's nice. And I've just been introduced to Barry's fabric, and yeah, I can see myself spending a bit of time there, but I've got to sew a lot first. I've got to get rid of some of this fabric first because yeah, I've got nowhere to put it. Okay, what's your most used pattern? This one, I would think. This one is name patterns, Blair Batwing, and I love it. I think I've made 3 or 4 of them so far, and I just really love. They're really comfortable, really comfortable. They're great when I'm running around after the kids at school, and they keep me nicely covered, and they're really easy to sew. And when I have a bit of a bloat on, they still feel comfortable. So yeah, I also like the carry trousers, so over it carry trousers, they're really nice. I've just started. I'm going to make, actually, out of the rayon viscose that I've just shown you, the black and white one, I'm going to make some for my daughter. So I'm going to have to add quite a bit in the length and see how those go. But yeah, they're really nice. I've made 2 pairs already, so I can see me making quite a few more of those. They're really comfy, and again, really good for running around after the kids in. Yeah. Okay, most dreaded sewing task is preparation. I think that's probably what you call cheating, because that's probably counts about 4 different things. But yeah, sticking PDFs together, tracing out patterns, because I try not to cut them if I can, because I keep convincing myself that I'm going to go back to a size 10, which is probably not going to happen ever. But yeah, my daughter's probably going to change sizes, so I tend to trace them off onto like cross and dot paper, but I don't have a table on which to do it, so I do it on the floor. And yeah, arthritis in my knees, joy of getting old. So yeah, leaning down with my creaky back and my creaky knees and tracing and cutting out It's not enjoyable. I'm quicker at it than I used to be, so it's not as unenjoyable as it used to be, but it's not as in. Yeah, I just don't know. Alright. Favourite sewing task? Me. I don't know. I like using the overlocker because it just goes like the covers and it's just really fun to use, and so's the cover stitch, although that can be a bit infuriating occasionally. I've found I really quite like doing French seams actually. Not sure why, because it's a bit time consuming, but they're very pretty afterwards. So yeah, I quite like doing those, and I really like using my little because the sewing machine I've got, which I'll tell you about on one of question 11, but it doesn't do a straight stitch. It doesn't have a straight stitch plate. Apparently they're not making for it, so I got a little vintage 221K little machine, and that's what I use to sew the chiffon. And on that machine, everything's my favourite, every bit of it, because it just click, 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 click. Oh, it sounds so cute, and it's just such a joy to sew on. So yeah, not helpful really, everything. What's your favourite sewing entertainment? I like watching vlogs sometimes, but not so good when I'm overlocking because I can't hear half of them. I also have been binge watching some old Project Runways, which I quite enjoy doing whilst I'm sewing, because it kind of it makes me put the speed on, because you see them on these industrial machines and they're like they're really fast, and yeah, our sewing machines aren't quite as fast as that, but if I just press really quickly, I find myself kind of pressing in little bursts and just going really quickly. It's probably not the best way, because I kind of tends to be a little bit all over the place sometimes, but it's fun. It's fun, and it puts a smile on my face, so it doesn't take a lot. Right, printed or PDF? Both. I don't like the sticking the I don't mind the sticking the PDF if I don't get any of them wrong, but I do have a tendency to get them. You get one a little bit squiffy, and then they all go squiffy, and then you've kind of got to try and... I haven't got Scotch tape, I'm too tight. I buy the cheapo stuff, and then I've got to kind of slice it all open again and then reposition it. So it can take a while, but I don't mind that so much. But I do mind... I have to trace off on both of them, so, because I don't want to just cut up the PDF if it's multi-size, because then I have to redo the sticking bit. No, I might not mind that, but it doesn't mean I want to do it 10 million times. So yeah, I trace off on both of them, and I don't know. Printed patterns look prettier, especially the independent ones. They're beautiful packaging, they look gorgeous, so that's nice, but it takes up more space, and PDFs take up diddly squat space really. There ain't much to look at, are they? So both and all. What sewing machine do you use? Well, I have the 221K by Singer, the little mini featherweight one, but that's only for really the silks and things, because it's just too sweet and pretty. I wouldn't put it through anything too difficult, but it's had a long life, so it needs to be looked after. I think she's too pretty to do anything hard labour. I have, for the rest of it, a Janome DKS 100, which isn't, it's a brilliant sewing machine. It's got like 100 stitches and stupid amounts of buttonholes, and you know, you just press a button and it kind of does half of it for you, which is great. And it has a neat knee lifty thing, so you stick this lever inside the machine and then you can just sit there and you just kind of push your knee to one side and it lifts the presser foot, and then you can kind of turn corners or whatever and then just move your leg back and then it's straight back down and you carry on, and it makes you feel very professional because you're just like whizzing along. So I really like that. It does have a little thread cutter function on it, which kind of automatically cuts the threads, but I find that really annoying and I never use it because it kind of cuts the bobbin threads so close that the bobbin thread goes straight back down, and then you have to kind of re-bring the bobbin thread back up, and I don't want to do that every time, so I rather just keep a pair of scissors next to me or me snips and snip, done. Yeah, a lot easier. I have a cover stitch machine. It's, sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. CPX 1000. I got it just as they were bringing out the 2001, so I'm got a used one that was hardly used even slightly at all, and I got it really, you know, it wasn't cheap, but it was still, you know, pretty damn good for what I got, and I got it even with the extension table, and so it's really good. It can be a bit temperamental, and the DKS 100, for anybody who has recently got that or is going to get that, can be a little temperamental at first. Mine was, and you just, it likes good needles and really good thread, and if you don't give it really good needles and really good thread, it has a hissy fit and it skips stitches, and so yeah, be nice, give it fancy stuff, and yeah, it's a diamond then. And I have a Juki MO 644D, which is a really, it's a basic overlocker because it doesn't have like the disc things that you go through. It has like the knob discs, so it's quite basic, and a lot of the buttons are inside, but it is awesome. If I was to recommend anything, it would be that. It is a diamond of a machine. It would just, it's a workhorse. It wasn't initially because I did have to take it back to the shop, to the girl who, she was working there, and she'd actually just ordered one, so she was getting all stressed because I couldn't get it to do a decent stitch, and I'd rethread. I got it home, and yeah, brave old me, gonna go straight and rethread it all, get used to it. Did that, couldn't get it to stitch properly. No matter what I'd rethreaded it, it must have been about 4 times, and just wouldn't stitch right. So I took it to her, she rethreaded it a couple of times, stitch was no. Luckily they had the sewing machine mechanic guy in at the time, and she went in and asked him about it to see whether he'd be able to have a quick look at it. I still remember him just walking out from and he literally just came up to the machine, and just where the knobs are, he grabbed one side of the thread and the other side of the thread and just kind of wiggled and tugged them into the discs, just turned around whilst he was doing all 4 of them, going, yes, you're supposed to put them in the discs properly. Right, sorry about that. Turns out I prattle on for a lot longer than I thought, and my card filled up, so be a bit quicker now. Do you have any other hobbies? I do photography. I've been doing it for about 4 years. I do for retouching as well, and you know, Photoshop editing, so I make very fantasy looking pictures. If I can figure out how to add it to the video, then I'll insert some now, so you can see them. Yeah, so if not, I'll put a link down below to my Flickr page thing, and you can have a look at some of my pictures, because I'm really good at photography. And I really enjoyed it, but I think I started to fizzle out a bit. I got a little bit bored, and also I did one too many weddings, and yeah, I don't like weddings. I like the people, they're really nice. I'm not big on too many people. I'm a bit phobic about it actually, but when I've got the camera with me, it's kind of a whole different ball game. I'm actually really like good with crowds. But yeah, editing a wedding, editing like 400 or 500 pictures, which, because I get really perfectionist, and I have to fine edit everything and all the little wrinkles and anal. But yeah, it puts you off, really puts you off after a while. So yeah, I don't want to do any more weddings, but I do really enjoy photography, and I think once I've taken a little bit of a break and done a bit more sewing, then I think I might get back into that. So yeah, anyway, I've prattled on for long enough, and this is my first video, and given how long I've prattled on, you probably won't come back again, but if you do, or if I make more, then yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.